What's going on, guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, you're with D-Boy, and we are with more reviews for Dark State. So, for yesterday stream, the one on Tuesday, the one that crashed, we have seen that they have revealed more cards from different nations. The one that I'm covering up today are the one from Dark States. Even the promo will also be in this video. What we have seen are cards that I'm assuming are Dark Irregulars, so let's jump into them. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment. Of course, these reveals are from the Genesis of the 5 Greats, so this is the this is the first ever booster box for from OverDress, and it has apparently for Dark States in mind Dark Irregulars, as we saw from the art. So the first card that we talk about is the promo. So these promos will also be included, and this is DIREFUL Doll VIOLETT. And beautiful art, really beautiful, very Pale Moon like. So this is Pale Moon, and it's a grade 2, 10k. So we assuming that all the grade 2s have the 10k, depending on their skill, but there is no 9k and 10k difference like Force and Excel and Protect, because we see most of them having the 10k, except if they have a strange skill that they will have less power. This card has a very simple ability. It's an act ability from Soul. If your Soul has 10 or more cards, you counterblast 1 and you call this unit to Vanguard. So you could pretty much give up 1 Soul, 1 counterblast to have an extra Vanguard on the field. Pretty cool, because it could be good. It's kind of a +1. It's a grade 2, so that makes it even better because you could intercept with her, depending on the deck that you play. I'm not seeing this card played a lot in the Bruce deck, but it's possible. You also soul charge a lot, and sometimes you just need that extra attacker, but mostly you also need the soul. So it's a very simple card and with a very interesting ability. Then we have the starter. It's UNCANNY Burning. Interesting name. As I said, it is definitely Dark Irregulars. The art that they chose for these units are very close to the Legion art that we have from Dark Irregulars. Not Amon, but the other 2 Legions that we have. One of the, I think the Legion mate, if I'm not mistaken, the first one was also green, has almost the same art. So this is the starter, and it has the same ability as the one that we have from the trial deck. I'm assuming that it doesn't really matter which one you play, because both great ones that you ride upon or the other cards doesn't really need this card name or the other one. So it's pretty much up to you to play whichever you like in whichever deck. Both of them have the same ability, which is when rolled upon, if you went second, you draw a card. And this ability only works if you go second. It's almost the same as playing Vanguard 0. When you go second, you actually draw the extra card. It doesn't require your opponent to be on grade 1. So this is different from V, because V, when you get the quick shield, only works if your opponent's on grade 1. So if you miss ride, then it doesn't work. But because on Vanguard D, you can't really miss ride. If you do, then you don't want to ride, because you always have the ride deck. So if you go second, you just draw a card. And then we have the grade 1, which is Deep SONIKER, I think, should be pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not that good at pronouncing names. Another interesting art, also very Dark Irregular like. This is definitely not Pale Moon or Spike Brothers, and hell no Gear Chronicle. This is the card that you want to have in your right deck, because this has an auto ability. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you soul charge 1. So this is also playable in the Bruce deck, but when you look at the second ability, you would think, maybe not. Because the second ability is a continuous ability. During your turn, if your soul has 10 or more cards, this unit gets an extra 10k. It is better than the one from the trial deck, from the Bruce deck, because that one, if you're in Final Rush, he gets only 5k, while this one actually gets 10k. But the requirement is also different. This one needs to have 10 cards in the soul, which you will never have in the Bruce deck, because in the Bruce deck you actually want to activate Bruce ability to restand your regards, and with that, when you restand this, it would lose the power because you will never have 10 cards in the soul after restanding stuff, because that's insane. That means that you have 15 cards in soul, and that's a lot. So this card only works for this deck, which is good. So we have the one from Spike Brothers, which work with Final Rush, and we have this one, which kind of is from Irregulars, and would work with a lots of soul charge. Then we have the grade 2. So we have Electrical Spartan. A nice name, beautiful art. Again, they are keeping that magnetic electric thingy in the theme, which is cool. We have seen that from Dark Regulars. We see the background of this card is also very beautiful. This would only be a rare, but the rares are and should be more rare than just cards. So these cards are important because we see lots of commons, a little bit of rare, less double rare, and even less triple rares because there are no VRs. So the rares are actually important because your PGs, which are normal double rares, are now rares. So everything got a rarity boost, which means that these rares normally are double rares when we compare them to cards from V or before that. So for his ability, he has two abilities. The first one is when this unit is rolled upon by Master of Gravity, which is the grade 3. You pay the cost, which is put a card from your hand into your soul, draw a card, and soul charge 1. This is a very nice ability because first of all, you could put a card from your hand into the soul, which means that if in the future we need a specific card name in the soul, then this card could put it if it's in your hand. If you have a draw trigger or something in your hand that you don't really need, you could put that into your soul, and you do an extra soul charge. And of course, because you did put a card from hand to the soul, you also draw a card. So it is definitely a very good ability, and this is strangely very similar to the one from the Bruce deck, which also puts a Vanguard into the soul and draws, but this is a little bit better because this actually soul charges 2 and draws a card, but it doesn't plus on hand because you put a card from your hand into the soul and draw. But a very interesting. I would not say that this card is better than I think his name was Richard, the card from the trial deck, or starter deck, but it's definitely very similar and also pretty good. The second ability is also really good. It's an ability that of course works on Vanguard because the first one always works on Vanguard, the second one works on Vanguard. I think we're really getting into knowing how Bushiroad is making these decks. So when this unit is placed on Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1 and Soul Charge 2. So it's again a very simple ability. For a Counterblast you Soul Charge 2, so this deck is all about soul charging as we have seen from the Great 1. Although the Great 1 is the booster, like with booster I mean beater, it is the card that gets the most power because this would be 10k, the other one would be 18, which is great. This is the card that actually gives you the soul charge. So you could put this on the field, you could soul charge, you could attack with it, boost with the Great 1, and then later on next turn you could intercept with it, and you could always move the Great 1 up because it's still a good attacker by itself. So that's actually very interesting that Bushiroad did it the other way around. Normally the booster, which is the Great 1, would be the one who soul charges, and the Great 2 would be the attacker. But now they did it the other way around, being the Great 2 is the support unit who gives you the soul, and the Great 1 is actually the strong unit who will get the power. I do like that a lot. It's different than how they did it in V, but it's very close on how they did it before that, like with During the Thruster, which was a card that gets lots of power, which was a good booster, and then you had like your Great 2s, which mostly did the soul charging. And last but not least, of course, we have the Master of Gravity himself, the big boss right here. Beautiful arts, very good, very nice, very well done, the colors and everything. And yeah, he has, as you can see, a long skill, a long text. And this actually makes me think a little bit about Castile, which just came out. His ability works in a very nice way, which said auto on Vanguard. when this unit attacks, you count +1 and perform all of the following according to the number of cards in your soul. So we have seen this before, right? Again, it's different, of course, than Castile, because with Castile your opponent would have to choose, but this is just simple. So if you have 5 cards in your soul, you just draw a card. So you count +1 to draw a card. If you have 10 cards or more, everything is or more in your soul, this unit gets an extra 10k and a critical +1 until the end of battle. 10k and a crit is really good. It only needs 10 soul. This is definitely a RRR worthy card. Next ability, if you have 15 or more, which is the maximum, which is understandable. They didn't go to 20 cards in your soul as they did with Castile, because these decks are of course a little bit slower and they don't want to make it overkill right away. 15 or more, both you and your opponent put all of your own rare cards into your soul. Choose up to 2 cards from your soul, call them to rare cards, and those units gets plus 10k until the end of turn. Well, this is crazy, because the first part of the ability said both you and your opponent put all of your own rare cards into your soul. Then choose up to 2 cards from your soul. This is talking only about you, if I'm not mistaken. It's not talking about your opponent. So everything goes to soul, and then you choose 2 cards from your soul and you call them to rare guard and you give them power, which means that you basically could attack with everything you have on the field. First attack with the rare guards, then attack with the Vanguard, then use this ability to put everything to your soul, and your opponent rare guards also go to your soul, to his soul I mean, and with that he's actually destroying everything from the opponent. And that's not all. He also gives you 2 new rare guards that are ready to attack. So you attack 5 times on that turn and they also get power, which is very, 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 very close to the way that Bruce operates, actually. Bruce also on attack with Final Rush, you could restand your field. So the 2 decks are actually very similar in the way that they work, but they just work in a different way and they have different art. For me, I really like this deck. I'm enjoying these new cards that we're getting, and also the playstyle. Like, this feels very Charlotte-like. We have in V, like really dark to regular-like, while the other one feels more Spectre-like. So now they're actually giving the clan identity back that we talked about throughout the channel. And that's actually it for these reveals. I'm very hyped, and I will make every dark state deck that we could make, even Pill Moon, because I really like the whole idea of having one nation and committing to it. I think for now I will only commit to dark state, but I will make everything from dark state. So yeah, that's definitely cool. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in our channel. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. And stay tuned for the other reveals as well, which will be very soon on the channel. Thanks for watching again. Until next time. Bye bye.